Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I need to go shave. I do not have my electric razor with me, so don't worry, you don't have to listen to the show while I use my electric razor today. But I do have to go get, when you have a car that goes, when you're out on car, it really changes the dynamic when it comes to getting the kids around and doing different things. So I'm trying to solve this little issue, but first, the Digital Asset Investor channel is always priority, and so here we go. Now let's look, before we get going here, let's look at this. Let me refresh this and see what's going on. The Digital Asset Investor's official neighbor just texted me and said that Stellar is going nuts. We now have Stellar up 30% today, and then we've got XRP up 16%. Now, since I started following digital assets, for some reason, XRP and Stellar have always kind of moved together. Look at Cardano. Cardano is up 9.19%. Now, for those of you who have not experienced a run in altcoins, this is what runs in altcoins look like. Look up here, Bitcoin sitting flat. Now, in the past, usually Bitcoin kind of moves with it, but this is what runs in altcoins really look like. You have 2 or 3 of them that are up double-digit percentages. I've even seen triple-digit percentages in a day, if you can imagine that. But what I want you to be thinking about is this. Think about your friends and family that have laughed at you about digital assets. Those same friends and family are looking at a stock market where the Dow is minus 41 today. And I'm going to read you a whole string of scary things about the traditional markets. So I want you to think about what's going through your friends and family's mind and their brokers and their financial advisors and Wall Street in general as they look to this kind of green, while the traditional market, which the dirty little secret is they've all known it was going to collapse. It was just a matter of time. While that experiences all the red, this dynamic will make this go even crazier because they will pile in. And guess what? By pure convenience, this week in the United States, Binance US and Backed will give these people an option. They will be able to pile in, and they will pile in. They'll pile in worldwide. You're about to see nobody's seen FOMO yet, not real FOMO. Okay, let's look at this. This is from Joker from yesterday. He's a chart guy. I am not a chart guy. Disclaimer: I'm not a chart guy. But he has a trading bot and does charts. He's one of the guys that I always kind of follow because he's been right more than once with me. XRP BTC bullish crossover on the weekly chart is in formation. Also, pay attention to the last pump when the red line curves upward. Technically speaking, this means XRP is a sleeping giant. If you are a BTC maximalist, you should buy XRP too. It will make you more BTC. And then he says, and boom. So he obviously thinks good things about what's happening. I believe if you go and look at his Twitter feed, I think this morning he was making a prediction or two as well. I don't do the predictions really, but some of those, sometimes I'll cover when guys that I think are pretty legit make one. Okay, Michael at VAL5 links from Mike Novogratz. Bitcoin and crypto investors are early industry entering the elementary school. Now, there's a couple of interesting things in this article. Here's Mike Novogratz, who is an investor in Ripple that will not say the word Ripple or XRP unless specifically asked, which has always been a weird thing to me. We are early. We're still in elementary school as an industry. When you think about it, Bitcoin is 10 years old. Ethereum is what, 4 years old? Gold is 3,000 years old. And while I fundamentally believe Bitcoin is going to supplement people's gold allocation, right? If you think of it, Bitcoin is digital gold. More and more people are buying into that. And then he says, as for the price of Bitcoin, and he just talks about that in general. But down here is what I found interesting. Look at this. The other piece was retail, right? Give Barry Silbert, who also does not say Ripple or XRP and is an investor in Ripple, but doesn't say it unless he's specifically asked. Give Barry Silbert tons of credit that he got this Bitcoin trust thing up and running before the regulators said no one else can do it. He has kind of a quasi-monopoly on this quasi-ETF. He's done a great job. That's a great product, a great asset management product. I'm envious. What he's referring to here, folks, is the Grayscale investment trust for Bitcoin. It's the GBTC, I believe is the symbol. Don't quote me. But it's Grayscale's Bitcoin investment trust. You can buy that in your IRA, and you can. I know that it's available at, I think it was at E-Trade and maybe 2 or 3 other brokerages. But remember this: this guy Barry Silbert created that GBTC Bitcoin trust, and basically he's sitting there in a situation, and you as an investor is sitting there in a situation. If you park your money in that Bitcoin trust, not only are people wanting to pile into Bitcoin, but they don't have any other options for IRA money, or if they don't want to physically go buy Bitcoin right now. And so it's like double the upside for an investor. It's a great opportunity. And then there's this. This was, and this goes hand in hand with that. This is from XRP Crypto Wolf from yesterday. VanEck, US, and SolidX just pulled their Bitcoin ETF proposal a month before the SEC news would have to approve or reject it on October 18th. The BTC and ETF had the best chance out of all the rest, so most likely the Bitcoin ETF this year, no Bitcoin ETF this year, so why did they pull it? They probably pulled it because they knew it was going to be rejected, and so they didn't pull it. Now, what I'll say about this is, don't be surprised if you see someone come out of nowhere who has the real power, whether it's somebody affiliated with BACT, somebody affiliated with Goldman Sachs who is invested in Circle, who owns Poloniex. That's my bet. When I think this Bitcoin ETF, I think out of nowhere you're going to see somebody who's the more connected group, like with Goldman Sachs or somebody like that, is going to come out of nowhere and get the first approval on one of these Bitcoin ETFs. I'd bet a Bitcoin on it. Okay. Next, it's King Solomon. U.S. Commodity Futures Trading Commission hires former Coinbase Vice President, General Counsel for Business Lines. Will be responsible for supervision of derivatives, platforms, and swap data, repositories, things that make you go, Doesn't make me go, There's a reason they're trying to get people from crypto to at the CMT, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. That's not a coincidence. Okay, and this is great from Bond Crypt. The former managing director of the International Monetary Fund, Christine Lagarde, has just been elected as the new president of the European Central Bank. In the voting, 394 favored Lagarde versus 206 opposed. This is not a coincidence either that this is happening now. Christine Lagarde is going to go down in the history books as one of the greatest leaders for digital assets. XRP Crypto Wolf. Germany's new blockchain strategy was passed and wants to prevent the launch of alternative stablecoin like Facebook's Libra. Germany is what is that word? Germany is liaisoning with European and international allies, as well as, I think this just means meeting, liaisoning, or I think it means meeting, with European and international allies, as well as Bundesbank, to explore benefits of digital central bank money. So you see what's going on. These guys are getting together, and they want to be the anti-Libra. Rob Cash. I'm not going to go into this article. It speaks for itself here. This is about, we've talked about it before, it's about the Marshall Islands. They're wanting to create their own digital asset. The country has embraced digital assets as its currency of choice. ditching the US dollar, gold, silver, XRP, Bitcoin, and altcoins. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, C3 Nick makes a good point here. The elimination of transaction fees and resulting micropayments will mark a shift in the economy. The extent of this change is hard to predict, just like in the early days of the internet. Oh, it's going to be very interesting the way that this shifts the entire market. And then look at this. How's this going to shift the market? Sweep the Leg Johnny has sent us, I just called him that for the first time, I think. I'd love to see XRP TipBot being used outside of social media, so I made this. Also available on Cinnamon Video, ... Look at this great graphic that he created. This is like someone paying for a glass of wine, and the waitress actually looks on her Apple Watch and sees that she got tipped. It's all instant. You can see where this is all going, folks. They're scanning a barcode on the receipt. This is awesome. I mean, because this could be done right now. I mean, we're this close. All right. Peter Voss at Peter Voss 6. XRP on Google is up again. So we're starting to see, this is what happens every time the markets start to surge. We're starting to see the searches for Ripple surge. So I decided I would go and look for the searches on XRP. This is the last 7 days, folks. Look what's happened. We were just going along, and then around September 17th, yesterday, boom, it spikes up, and it's right now touching almost 100. It shows you where it's doing that, and this type. And we're also getting searches for H-bar price all of a sudden, so that's interesting. Okay, XRP Trooper. Now this, for those of you that don't know, he's the official stormtrooper who has a chipped tooth. I think this is the same guy who has a chipped tooth of the Digital Asset Investor channel. Well, he sent me this. Can't wait. This is from Julia Chatterley. I'm about to give you a string of all of the scary economic things that are going on while digital assets are surging. If this really catches the way that I've always thought that it would, this will be a complete game changer. And we're just talking about speculation right now, folks. We're not even talking about the real utility of XRP. She says, can't wait to discuss with this guy, Scott Minard. She's having him on her show. This is the lady that interviewed Brad Garlinghouse. He says, this is a tweet from him, historical evidence on the Fed's skill in using rate cuts to avoid recession is mixed. History shows that once our recession probability model reaches current levels, only aggressive policy can delay recession, but not avoid it. In other words, it's coming. Okay, and then we had this from CSTAT, at the real CSTAT, sent me this. And this is something he took from his phone, I guess. Listen to this. On Tuesday morning, the New York Fed launched what's called an overnight repo operation, during which the central bank attempts to ease pressure in markets by purchasing treasuries and other securities. The goal is to pump money into the system to keep borrowing costs from creeping above the Fed's target range. The first attempt by the New York Fed was canceled because of technical difficulties. Minutes later, the New York Fed successfully injected $53 billion into the system. The episode demonstrates evidence of the emerging strains in financial markets and raises concern that the Federal Reserve could be losing its grip on short-term rates. Well, duh, like my kids say, that's eventually this kind of stuff is what was going to happen. And if you were around during the financial crisis, this stuff will give you flashbacks right here. From Jonathan D at XRP_YD7 sent me these two. First, from Peter Schiff, the financial media and Wall Street are downplaying the significance of the New York Fed's emergency injection of $53 billion into the banking system to prevent interest rates from rising. The Fed can't suppress rates forever, and the longer it does, the greater the crisis when it gives up. And then there was this that he sent me from Caitlin Long. The repo market is ground zero for cracks in the financial system, just as it was in 2008. This is the fourth such repo market crack underway for under 1 year and coming to a head. Keep a close eye on this, especially its spillover into the money markets and bond markets. Things are getting very, very scary right now if you don't own digital assets. Cotswold Gent comes in. This is very worrying. You don't put a band-aid on fracture. You fix it. The time has come to fix our global financial system now. Please release instant cash from Nostro Vostro and use XRP for instant liquidity. Do it before people lose jobs, homes, and even lives. The Fed is going to pump a load of cash into U.S. money markets for a second day to try to relieve tight funding markets. And then finally this, in these rising XRP markets, I wanted to send a message out to all of you who have been with me for the last year and a half. And I'm not saying that we are in a permanent bull market right now or anything like that. I'm just saying we've had 2 great days. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone that put their big boy pants on, because there's been many hairy times in these markets. Andy Cross sent me this reminder, and that was this video. If you've never seen it, from the other guy's movie, Big Boy Pants scene. This is one of the scenes where he says he's got his big boy pants on. But many of you were around in the darkest days. I believe this market at the low got to a total market cap of around $100 billion. And there were times when I literally yelled at the audience and said, you've got to understand what you're in. These digital assets, this is how it works. You have to be willing to go down 95% to experience 1,000+% gains. So put your big boy pants on, man up, and quit being a wuss in this environment. Understand what you're a part of. And there are many people that disappeared, but there's a lot of you that hung in there. Whether you're the people that disappeared and you're coming back, or you hung in there, thanks for listening. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that we're a part of something very, very big. And if you got to put your big boy pants on, do what you got to do. Thank you for listening.